So I think this is the worst thing that might happen, which leads to a sort of a total failure. There were a lot of interested faces and puzzled faces. I don't know whether this puzzlement was due to the complexity of the mechanism, of understanding the mechanism, or whether it was due to the fact that this extremely interesting instrument requires for transparency, market transparency and liquidity. So as far as Italy is concerned, we are lagging behind, as it is also evidenced by latest discussions about negotiations on milk prices. My daughter would like to ask a question, if I'm not wrong. Let's have the Q&A session now. We will have a shorter Q&A session because we are a little bit late. And as far as price and market transparency is concerned, I would like to introduce the first question. I would like to call on Ettore Brandini. Sorry, he's not here. Karel De Brando, now is your turn. Dear De Brando, sorry, Confagricoltura Cremona, this is your turn. So, milk negotiation in Lombardy, which was concluded with a null situation, so no conclusions. Which were the underlying problems? Of course, no agreement on price, because it's clear that those who buy want to buy low, and those who are selling want to draw as much as they can. But also we cannot communicate and talk with processors and those working in the processing industry. We have had this problem for ages and ages, like the difficulty of setting a reference price. Beautiful question. So from theory to practice, well, it's difficult to make a comment on this topic since there is a huge debate on milk price. We have had these problems for decades, and the trend is to have a short contract in terms of time limit. So the market is varied and complex, and also considering to and referring to the speakers of this morning, these difficulties have been depicted very clearly. So at present, I wouldn't say that. I mean, we have no agreement, so it's still underway. It's difficult negotiation. We have to come to terms with different needs, buyers and sellers, and this is one of the major difficulties. But to combine different needs, also considering this huge volatility. As far as we are concerned, you know that we have to consider production costs, and it's very much important to consider also the gain for the investment and also for further profit of the entrepreneurs. So we have to combine and take into account different requirements. So as for the price which is recognized today, the closing price of the campaign which ended at the 30th of April is a price which generates difficulties for producers. So our requests are higher or slightly higher than the negotiated price. So the point is very often, or the problem is due to the lack of benchmark. So I make an example. If for traditional products, like for cooperatives or traditional dairy industries, the most common trend is to have a price with an impact on all the partners. So for the processing industries, this is a problem. So this is the core issue which also was touched upon this morning. I would like also to refer to the presentation on futures, on the speech on futures. Well, today, when we have to negotiate the price, the milk price, starting from 1st of May until 31st of December, well, you are considering and making considerations about the future. So honestly, I don't know whether our producers or whether our market is a mature market, is mature or ready for these instruments. We should further analyze and consider this. In the past, we also tried to adjust the milk price to the market, standardization. But despite all that, we could not find an agreement with the as far as indexing is concerned, a long-lasting indexing, or we could not find a solution. So the point is that the problem is still there. Thank you, Hildebrand. So the problem is still there, and we have a long way to go in order to try and understand whether these instruments may be applied or applicable. Well, considering these prices, milk prices, and considering these production costs, so I would like to ask Lucchini to make an intervention. Mr. Lucchini is from Farmers Association, Associazione Allevatori, Farmers Association. Where is Lucchini? I'm here. The question is it possible for a farmer to make money or make revenues with milk, considering the high production costs and considering these prices? Sorry, I was not expecting to talk about this topic. The question is extremely complex. Someone is talking about a common milk price, a unique milk price, but we know that we've got many milk prices in the Italian market, so there is a unique answer, just like in many other jobs. If you're really good and smart at doing what you're doing, you make more revenues. If you're not, you cannot make revenues. So there is no other chance. There is no other answer. But it depends on your skills, on your management skills, depends on the management skills of each individual dairy farmer. Of course, I've got a lot of concerns, also considering the seasonal trend in Italy. I think we are going to have an extremely complex situation in the months to come. Because probably due to the lack of raw material, a shortage of raw material which are needed to produce milk, is going to make production costs increase. I arrived late, so we saw that milk price doesn't exclusively depend on what happens in Italy, but it's also influenced by what happens around the world. So this is something that is not going to follow production costs. I mean, we are going to have production costs in Italy, and this is going to influence us. The answer to your question is quite simple. Dairy farmers will make revenues, and also if you are good enough to produce raw materials. Raw materials are very much important, also because there are complex mechanisms, financial mechanisms, which might jeopardize the entire system. Like in the past, you know that for banks, in the past, farmers were a sort of guarantee, but today also farmers might generate doubts for banks. So also this is generating a lot of complexities and problems for the entire system. It's not going to be an easy year. So regardless of the price, of course it will be a high price, but a sort of bearable price, so acceptable price. But if you produce milk like we are doing, you realize that there is a high demand for products. And I'm referring also to those who do different things. You know, when you buy or sell milk, and you consider these two subjects, selling or buying milk, all the rest is the market. So when this happens, it's very difficult to make forecasts apart from what you are reading in newspapers. So it's very difficult to have significant markups or increases. So at present, so the real market is different from the ideal market, or the market that we would like to have. So sorry for these remarks. I didn't know I was expected to make the remarks. So if you have some specific requests or questions, I will be more than happy or glad to answer. Thank you. Just very last remark. Lucchini, aggregation. So, aggregation. Did you create aggregation? Did you aggregate producers in order to supply higher volumes? So, what about aggregation, coming together? Did it provide you advantages or benefits in the logistics, or and also in terms of price, milk price? Did it provide you with benefits or not? It was not simple. Nothing is simple. Aggregation is a principle, a meaningful principle, because if you look at other sectors, far away from agriculture, like the entrepreneurial sector or other types of companies, this is a clear indication of what farmers should do, because we are a highly segmented sector. So aggregation brings about a positive effect, because when you have to come to terms with different sizes, like when you have to talk to industries or larger industries or companies, and you are very small, things are very complicated. We created Agri Piacenza Latte more than 10 years ago, but things are getting difficult, because if you want to work in a stable market, it means that you have to give benefits to the partners of this aggregation, but also to provide benefits to the others outside of this aggregation. So in the last decade, we have had two prices in milk market: price for Grande Padano and the price for other consumption, with a differentiation in different periods of the year, accounting for 20-30%. So this obliged our aggregate system to differentiate prices. When you have a price, like last year, we had a price which was set, which was made with one company. It was not a national price. It was milk sale to this company. The evidence is that nobody was purchased at that price. So, you have a price when you have a buyer. So this is not a detail. This is very clear. This should be very clear. So in our system, we had a lot of difficulties, a lot of problems, because we had to guarantee to our partners a sort of intermediate price, a compromise between the highest and the lowest market price. So this is extremely positive, because you can distribute the benefits deriving from these highest prices also to the others. So it's positive for the market. Sorry if I'm not criticizing, but it's more positive for those who are not associated or aggregated, because there's always someone, like when you have created like an aggregate market, someone said this is the price, and the price was said, well, but this was not the real set price, because this price was not created by companies, by milk sellers. We create a price. Cooperatives create price. Of course, you have to take into account cost, because this is the problem. Like, it's not that in the morning you wake up and say, this is the price. Well, good luck. Yes, you said that you didn't want to criticize that this is what you were doing. Well, this is the problem. We know that we have a lot of issues on the reform of the exchanges and commodity exchanges. This is not the real market. This is not the price. Anyway, we are going to talk about it in the next